Hello one and all to day number 8 of our 6th custom drag race tournament. For our first group of today, we will introduce Liam, Stacy Ocean, the Dark Knight, and Rebel. And as the race begins, it looks like it is Rebel who is pulling away, getting further away from the competition as they approach the finish line, getting victory. Finishing with 3:08, 2.97 is still currently the fastest time we've seen so far. That was done by Big 6 on day 5. The closer you can get to 3 seconds at this point and possibly surpass it, the more of a threat you will seem to be to your opponents. Now for heat number 2, can Rebel do it again? It looks like they will. They are once again pulling away from the rest of the competition, getting win number 2 with ease. They are looking to be the next sweeper. In the vast majority of our videos so far, most if not all of the racers that have won have also gotten a sweep. But there has been the occasional exception, such as day 3, where there was only one sweeper that came out of it. But for right now, Rebel just needs one more victory, and they are an automatic winner and moving on to the next round of the tournament. And it looks like they will do that, as the Dark Knight seemed to be keeping up with them until they got to the bottom of the hill. And that is when Rebel pulled away and got the victory they needed. So now they can breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that no matter what happens in this final race, they are still going to progress. It's just a matter of whether or not they can join that slowly expanding list of sweepers. I'm sure the other 3 racers are going to try and stop that from happening, but we'll have to see if they can actually do it. Because so far, once Rebel gets that lead, they have not lost it, and that is the case here, getting 4 victories, thus a sweep, being the newest addition to that list of people who have done so. Their times could be a little bit faster, all things considered at this point, but a 3:09 and a 3:08 is still not bad. But that is one group down. We now move on to our second group, and that group contains Steadfast Diecast, Gray, Old Guy, and Flip Gambino. Flip Gambino has been known for their speed before, and they're showcasing it again as they quickly pull away from the rest of the competition, getting the first victory without much competition whatsoever. And they almost got 3 seconds flat, falling just shy of that number, finishing with 3:01. Flip Gambino has been in these tournaments before and overall has performed very well. I'm sure they have high hopes now after seeing an impressive time like that. And now Flip Gambino looking to get a second victory, along with the possibility of keeping the sweep dream alive. And they're doing that here, as they are many lengths ahead of even second place. Finishing now with 3:01 yet again. You gotta give them props for consistency as well as speed. If you have both, then you are definitely a big target for this competition, because people will be keeping their eyes on you. And now Flip Gambino just one win away, and it's looking very promising after those first 2 races. And here they go. Once they got close to the bottom of the hill, they just started picking up dramatic speed, and they won again without any contention from the other racers. They were a little bit slower, which I think has something to do with the way they started. But a 3:03, despite that, is still highly impressive. But with the speed and consistency, if you have one or the other, you can still do very well. But if you have both of them, it can be very difficult to beat you. Now Flip Gambino looking to be the next sweeper. And the race begins, and they're already a length or 2 ahead, and that is expanding as they cross the finish line in first place for the 4th time, thus getting the sweep they were craving, finishing 3:02 this time around. Everyone else definitely raced well, but when you go up against someone like Flip Gambino, or anyone that is breaking 3 seconds, then even impressive times can seem like much less. Now for our third group, we've got 2 sweepers so far. Let's keep it going. With Linda, Steadfast Diecast again, Silk 12, and Craigster Sr. And the race seems to be so far in Craigster Sr.'s favor, but he seems to be losing it, and I don't think they actually managed to win that race. They did not. It was a very promising start, but as they got to the finish line, either they were going slower or their competition was going faster. Either one could be the case, because we've seen both happen with other racing groups before. That is a blow to Craigster Sr. So far, Silk 12 managed to grab that win. Can they get all 4 wins, though? We'll have to see if they can pull something like that again. So far, they're starting in the back, but they are picking up speed. They're trying to catch up to Craigster Sr., but they couldn't quite do it this time. So we will not have a full video of sweepers again, which hasn't happened too often since the beginning. Craigster Sr. now in first place with that race, tied with Silk 12 at 8 points apiece. Now with that in mind, both of them have started to get a little bit more nervous, because this next race could potentially decide it all. If we do get a tiebreaker, the overall faster time will be the one to determine who moves on. Silk 12 trying to do what they did in the first race. I'm not sure they could pull it off, though. And they did not. Everyone finished very close together, but the win still goes to Craigster Sr. So now Craigster Sr. is a little bit more comfortable. They just have to finish in front of Silk 12 in order to get the win and be the latest addition to the roster of those who are advancing. Here we go again, 4th and final race. This could decide everything. Things are looking pretty good for Craigster Sr. Here comes Silk 12 trying to perform a miracle. Could not do it though. Craigster Sr. will be the one moving on after quite a few close calls. They're not a sweeper, but they are progressing. So we will not have a full video of sweepers, but we could still get a third one out of the next group. But here are the final scores for this one. And now for the 4th and final group. Here we go. This will have The Kid, Steadfast Diecast once more, Numbskull, and Shababy. Some fan favorites in this group for sure. And it looks like it might be Numbskull, but I don't know if they could maintain that lead. It was very close until the end, but the timer is giving it to Numbskull. The camera angle made it seem like they were falling behind just by the smallest of margins. But looks can definitely be deceiving. Looking at it this way, it definitely seemed like Numbskull got there just before their competition with a 3:07. The Kid, very close for sure. Shababy and Steadfast have some work to do. The race begins. It's once again a one-on-one between the Kid and Numbskull, but it looks like Numbskull has a more definitive victory this time around. Finishing now with 3:08. That is a very good time. But considering the fact that some racers have finished about a 1/10 of a second faster than that, which is a huge difference in races like this one, you definitely don't want to get too comfortable. So now that is 2 races down. Numbskull just needs 2 more to be the next sweeper. But they are going up against the Kid, who is right on their tail every time. Steadfast and Shababy are falling behind once more. And Numbskull, I think, was able to get that win. That's how close these are, because it's hard to tell sometimes. Especially with these two going up against each other. But they are giving it to Numbskull once again by a very small margin. But because that is 3 consecutive victories, that means Numbskull is going to move on now, no matter what happens in this final race. Now the kid just wants to stop Numbskull from getting a sweep, especially after having a tantalizingly close race with them. However, it doesn't seem like the kid is going to do that, and Numbskull will get victory number 4, thus a sweep, and he will be moving on to the next round of the tournament. And there you have it. 4 groups. I believe that was 2 sweepers today. And very impressive times overall. And now with that, here is the updated roster of those who are advancing. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.